Have you ever felt like your dating life was finally going somewhere? Like you meet somebody new, you talk nonstop, feeling super giddy with the other person, saying and doing all the right things while you finally feel more and more comfortable with the reality that, hey, maybe it finally will work out this time. Next thing you know, the dude or chick you're chatting with becomes dry as hell the next day and barely responds to any of your texts before ghosting you completely. As you sit there questioning what the fuck you did wrong, overthinking every little thing, was I too clingy? Did I not flirt enough? Did the dead body in my trunk turn her off? Don't worry, dude, it definitely wasn't the dead body. It was the fact that they only wanted you to feel special until they didn't need your attention anymore. They never valued you, only the things you could provide, saying all of the right things without meaning a single one of them. And so the cycle repeats itself, with you questioning why the same thing keeps on happening. Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you how to break out of it and the red flags to look out for in a man or woman that will keep you from being used and exploited. With all that out of the way, let's get into this. Alright, so the first big red flag to look out for is breadcrumbing. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean giving you just enough attention to keep you around as an option without actually committing to anything. Now, what does this look like? From my experience, it's when they do shit like texting you out of the blue, talking about how bad they want to see you and how much they like you. But as soon as you suggest going on a date or meeting up, they suddenly back out with a bunch of excuses. For example, before I met my partner, I was talking to this one girl who I got set up with by a mutual friend. At the time, she recently got out of a relationship and knew that I had too, and was looking at getting back into dating. She would text me every single day, venting about her stupid fucking problems, talking about her ex, and wanting to get back into dating. Cool, it seemed like we were on the same page. But here's the thing. She would flirt with me a bunch to reel me in, or talk about wanting to go on a date, but as soon as I would take her up on it, she would suddenly back out. Now, this continued for a few weeks until I came to the realization that she just wanted somebody to vent to, rather than a partner. She knew that if I found out that she wasn't actually wanting a relationship, that I would move on to another woman who did, meaning that she wouldn't have my attention anymore. And so when I called her out on it and blocked her, she straight up lost her fucking mind and tried to desperately nonstop reach out to the point where she would still bring me up to our mutual friend years later when I had already moved on at that point. The point is, she willingly tried to manipulate me into staying in contact with her by leading me on because I gave her the validation that she wanted without making her to commit to me as a partner. I was essentially just a shoulder to cry on and a shoulder to be used, and that was that. If you feel like your relationship dynamic is one sided, with you being the only one to try to progress your relationship, then chances are it is. If you're more confused by their behavior than you are sure of it, then there's your answer. You're being manipulated. The best thing you can do at that point is to call it out for what it is and immediately move on. These people will manipulate you with hopes of something more, but never actually deliver on that promise. The longer you keep falling for their false promises, the longer it's going to be to take that time to find that person who can actually deliver. Trust me, if they genuinely want to go out with you, they will do everything in their power to actually see you. Now, with the first sign out of the way, let's talk about the second. Their words versus their actions. This one is extremely similar to breadcrumbing. However, I bring it up to reiterate how we need to genuinely focus on someone's behaviors rather than their words. Throughout my time dating, this is the biggest red flag I wish I paid way more attention to because I wasted so much fucking time on people who never delivered at the end of the day. Whether it was people telling me how much they wanted to go out on more dates before leaving me on red the next day, people saying they wanted something serious before telling me that they were only interested in doing friends with benefits, or just simply lying about who they were as a person. A person's action speaks volumes in comparison to their words at the end of the day. One example of this I can think of in my life was this one girl I met off of Tinder. I know, that's probably the biggest red flag in of itself. But anyways, I've been talking to her for around a month and told her that I was only looking for something serious and that I was only going to be focusing on her. At the time, it felt wrong to text multiple people to go on dates, so I figured I'd do the right thing and not lead anyone on. After explaining that to her, she said she felt the same exact way and thought it was fucked up to do anything other than that. She told me she deleted Tinder with me and that she was excited to go out with me. Cue a week later when we actually meet up. As I'm sitting next to her at the movies, she goes ahead and shows me photos of her friends and her family on her phone. And while she's scrolling past a bunch of bullshit photos, I see a straight up fucking Tinder notification pop up from a dude she was texting. She immediately panicked and swiped off before accidentally scrolling back to Tinder, and then opening her camera roll back up where she proceeded to open a photo with her with a baby. Trying to change the subject to something else after that embarrassing ass moment, I asked her if it was her niece. She then proceeded to drop the bombshell, "No, that's my child." I asked her to repeat herself, and she responds, "My child." That is my child. After basically exposing herself as a liar, she then somehow neglected to mention the fact that she had a whole ass kid that she proceeded to hide from me for an entire month and a half that we were talking. So much for the I'm only interested in you. Anyways, this basically proved to me how fake people can be and how far they're willing to go to fuck around. It doesn't matter whether or not they have to lie through their teeth, as long as they get their fix of attention, then they're happy. The lesson here is to immediately focus on what a person does. If they say they're only focused on you, who do they spend their time with? If they say they want to be serious, how often do they actually back it up? With my partner now, what made me realize she was genuinely who she said she was the fact that she always went out of her way to try to make the dates happen whenever we had a scheduling conflict. It was the fact that she would return the same energy that I put in, and ultimately it was the fact that she showed up instead of just saying that she would. If you get anything short of that, then reconsider whether or not they mean the words they tell you, or if they're just trying to keep you on that leash. Alright, so the last red flag I want to cover here is having that gut feeling that something is off. Deep down, when you know something is off, chances are your brain is subconsciously picking up on the inconsistencies that you choose to overlook. For example, if you feel them pulling away and acting distant all of a sudden, and when you bring that up, they just say they've been busy. So you go ahead and respect that and keep putting in the effort, but the distance keeps growing more and more despite how hard you try. And then suddenly they hit you with the, I'm not ready for a relationship right now, before finding a new guy or girl to text a week later. This sort of thing happens all the fucking time, and it's depressing how common it is. People will do absolutely everything but tell you the truth, and will lead you on even when they have no desire to actually have a relationship. This sort of thing happened all the time for me, and yet each and every time they would get distant, I would keep pushing more and more. The reality of it was that they got bored of me, but felt too bad to actually say that they weren't interested, and instead decided to be a coward. In all of those moments, I wish I just listened to my gut because I could have saved so much fucking time instead of wasting it on somebody who didn't deserve it. Some of you may be in that position right now, and I get that it's hard to see it for what it is. We can't help but want to see the good in people. But at the same time, how far are you willing to drive yourself crazy with the excuses? Trust me, the sooner you call it out for what it is, the sooner you'll be on the right track finding somebody who can actually deserve to have your energy. And somebody who actually returns your energy at the same time. The person who's worth it will communicate with you readily. They won't leave you waiting, and most of all, they'll actually make an effort into getting closer with you instead of pulling away because they want that connection as much as you do. So why are you making excuses for the people who can't give you the bare minimum of telling you the truth? It's fucking ridiculous. Now, with all that out of the way, I just want to have you guys realize that a real relationship is still possible. The dating scene is completely ass nowadays, and I get that. And there's so many self-absorbed people who are willing to use you for all you're worth. But for every selfish prick out there, there's another honest, beautiful man or woman out there who are willing to create something that's actually real. We just need to know what to look out for to bolster the chances of actually finding them. Whether it's learning to focus on someone's actions rather than their words, listening to your gut, or shutting down breadcrumbing as soon as it happens. The more we recognize what to avoid, the more likely we are to not be used. Romance may be fucked, but it certainly isn't dead. And you can find that person for you. You got this. Anyways, I do hope this video did help you in some capacity, and I wish you all the best. Thank you for listening to my garbage rambling session, and I seriously do appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.